Hey, what's up, everyone? This is your friendly neighborhood guitarist, Ernesto Fuentes, back with a brand new episode of Meet My Gear. Now, I do apologize for not posting anything in quite some time. Just, I've had a lot of work and, family's been over, but I mean, I'm back, and I got this brand new piece of kit with me that I want to introduce you guys to. This here is Aqua, and I named her after one of my favorite video game characters from Kingdom Hearts, whose name is Aqua, who made her debut in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Now, now a little bit about the Jackson Company. Now, Jackson was founded by Grover Jackson, who was once the co-owner of the Charvel guitar repair shop in Glendora, California in 1980. This was after Wayne Charvel sold the company over to Jackson, to Grover Jackson, I mean. And of course, the Charvel name still operates to this very day, and so is the Jackson name. Now, Jackson came into fruition when a young certain guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne came over to him to build a new guitar for him. That, of course, being the Concorde, and that young guitarist was named Randy Rhoads. Now, Rhoads actually came over to Jackson and he wanted this brand new Flying V guitar that became known as a Concorde for a while. But once Randy Rhoads passed away, the guitar was renamed the Rhoads in his honor. But Jackson wasn't only known for making the Concorde. They also made a lot of other models that were huge in the heavy metal scene in the 1980s, such as super strats like this guitar right here, the Dinky series, as well as the Soloist. And they also made some other models like the King V, which is their own take on the flying V shape that was very popular at the time, as well as the Warrior, which essentially looked kind of like a star shaped guitar, and of course the Kelly, which is almost like their take on the Gibson Explorer. Now, a little bit about this guitar itself. Now, this is a JS34 Dinky. Now, it's an HSS configuration, which I really personally like, especially after watching Vinnie Moore, one of my favorite guitarists, as well as guys like Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden and a bunch of other guitarists. Now, I do like the HSS personally because it kind of gives me a little more options, especially because I kind of do like the single coil sound a little bit at times if I wanted just some decent cleans. But I also like having the option of a humbucker just to kind of give me that really fat and juicy tone that's just great for my style of playing. Now, it's got two volume knobs, well, two knobs, volume and tone, I believe. I think this is volume, and I believe this might be tone, and I always just have them cranked up to maximum. A five-way switch to add a little extra voicing, a licensed Floyd Rose tremolo, which I personally have a love-hate relationship with because I love Floyd's. Don't get me wrong, I love Floyd's and those kinds of bridges because it kind of gives me that option to really go completely bonkers on the guitar. But the thing I hate about them is the fact that you just have to really, just the fact that restringing is just so tedious with them to the point where you just do not want to break a string on one of these things, because otherwise what you're going to have to do is just you're going to have to take an Allen wrench to these little saddles here, just take an Allen wrench and just unscrew it, and it's a pain in the butt to deal with. Um, of course, I believe it's a basswood body with a quilted maple top, as you can see. If you look closely, it's got this really nice quilted maple veneer, I believe. It's not, I don't think it's a top. I think it's just like a veneer just to kind of, give it a little extra brightness to the sound. As you can see, I just really love that really thin contrast there, which I just it just, I love quilted maple, to be honest. Got a maple neck, well, maple fretboard with 24 jumbo frets, which is perfect for me. It's got a pretty thin neck, as you can see, and it's, now the thing I like about this neck in particular is that it's not overly thin like an Ibanez neck, but it's not like baseball bat thick like you would find on a Gibson Les Paul. But it's just right for my playing, and and I just love the little contour here, where it's like if you play at a certain angle, you're still going to be able to reach those really hard to reach notes. And of course, it's got the famous shark fin inlays that Jackson is just very, very well known for. And now, funny thing about Jackson nowadays is that both Jackson and Charvel are now owned by Fender. So that's why if you really were to look at the modern catalog of, well, just the modern roster of the both Charvel and the Jackson models, you notice that there are some guitars that take the Fender, the traditional Fender shapes. Like there's some Charvels that I believe are Telecasters, and then there's some that just look like Strats. So it's pretty cool, I mean, and it's just kind of crazy when you think about it, because both Jackson and Charvel were majorly huge models back in the 1980s when metal was just booming, right? Like when you got the thrash guys, when you had the glam metal guys, when you had the shredders, the virtuosos, and just a lot of guys would be playing guitars kind of like this one, mostly because of the feel. But, and of course, there have been a lot of major Jackson players, both back in the old days and even today, so Jackson is still just going strong. And I mean, you got guys back in the old days like Randy Rhoads, of course, who I mentioned before. Kirk Hammett at one point did play Jackson, and I think he still does have a Rhodes, although the guy's now endorsed with ESP. Alexi Laiho from Children of Bodom also played Jackson's, but again, he's also now endorsed by ESP. And of course, Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and who else? Marty Friedman, one of my biggest heroes on the guitar, is also endorsed by Jackson. And even modern guitars nowadays, like Gus G from Firewind, has his own signature model, and so does Mick Thompson from Slipknot, and Jeff Loomis formerly from Nevermore, and he now plays for Arch Enemy, as well as just kind of doing his solo thing. So, but yeah, I'm going to give you guys a little demo. Now, same rules apply. 3 channels and each humbucker. Now, I'm going to do a little something interesting for you guys. Now, I'm going to capture each voicing, because the thing about these guitars is that because of the 5-way switch, it's going to be a little different. Now, obviously, if it's all the way down, it's going to be in the bridge position. If you kind of go up a little bit, just switch going up, you got this half of the humbucker, like the top half right here, and this pickup right here. Switch it to the middle, you got the middle pickup. Switch it upward a little bit, and you kind of got both of these. And then all the way up to the bridge, up to the neck, I mean, you got just this single coil pickup. So now, allow me to give you guys a little demo. Now we're gonna go for a clean tone with the pickup on with the bridge pickup, I should say. All right, here goes. That was the bridge pickup, just a full-on humbucker. Now we're going to switch up a little bit. Now it's going to be the top coil and the middle pickup. All right, let's go into the middle pickup. All right, let's switch to both of these pickups. All right, that's time for the neck. All right, now let's try the mild distortion channel, or crunch on my Blackstar ID core. So let's try this out. Same thing. These two coils right here. All right, middle pickup. All right, same thing. These two pickups right here, both the middle and neck pickup. Alright, now it's time for the neck pickup. Just the neck pickup right here. have a little fun now to my favorite channel. That is, of course, Heavy Distortion. So let's see. Now, again, same. You got the picture. Alright. Next channel up. I mean, next boat up. Alright. Middle pickup. Next up. Alright. Finally, neck position. Alright, so that was it for the demo. Now this is definitely a guitar that I do recommend picking up if you're a guitarist on a budget, or if you're an intermediate guitarist or something along those lines. So it's definitely worth checking out. The JS series is actually one of Jackson's more affordable series in their guitar line, and they actually play very well, as you can see. I mean, the neck just feels absolutely great. I think it's got like sort of a satiny feel to it, which I think is a great feeling, because especially if you're just like constantly playing, you don't have to worry about like any glossy chipping or anything like that from what you would get if you were to play on stage and you were to sweat a lot, and the gloss will just completely screw up the paint job on the neck and maybe even on the guitar itself. But I mean, it's a great sounding guitar, feels great on your hands, and not to mention it's fairly light considering it is basswood, and basswood as a type of wood is actually pretty light. So, and it's also, I believe, it's kind of got that mixture of dense and light at the same time. So it's kind of be like you're getting mahogany and maple, like that tone just melded into together in one type of wood. So I definitely recommend picking this guitar up. I think it runs at Guitar Center, brand spanking new, for about $400. But I was lucky enough to get this thing used for half of that. So, but yeah, it's definitely a good go-to guitar if you're brand new, or again, if you're like me, a guitarist on a budget. So All right, well, that was the my episode of Meet My Gear with my beautiful Aqua here. So until then, here I am signing off. Aqua, let's take it away, girl. Stay awesome, everyone.